Sharp Game here. Welcome to another episode coming at you from ChooseYourRelationships.com. How do you meet women? Where do you meet women? I always thought this was a weird question that I used to hear people ask. This is way back 20 years ago when I was in the Navy. And I still hear people ask the same question today. How do you meet women? Where? How? And what do you say? And what do I say to them when I meet them? I mean, it's kind of a weird question. And, even back then I thought it was a weird question. Because I didn't really know what to say to people when they asked that. When they used to ask me that 20 years ago. Now, don't get me wrong. I was at one point, I used to have a hard time trying to talk to women as far as having a conversation. But as far as talking to people, I never had a problem with doing that. I just didn't know what to talk about specifically. I used to just talk about anything, whatever was going on in my environment at the time. That's what I talked about. And sometimes it was a good thing, sometimes it was a bad thing. But at least I got it started. At least I got it going. Now maybe the conversation didn't go as planned, or maybe I didn't get anywhere. But hey, you don't have to get everything right in the beginning. You just got to get it going. But as far as approaching women, approaching anybody, I never really had a problem with that. So the whole question of how do you meet women and where do you meet women, it's kind of a weird question. I still really don't get why would anyone have such a hard time. How did they get to that point? How do you get to that point? How do people get to a point where they're scared, where they're afraid, or sometimes even scared to say anything to strangers? I mean, what's gonna happen? I mean, what's the worst thing that could happen if you ask a stranger a question? I mean, what's gonna happen? I mean, they'll just ignore you and keep moving. I guess that's the worst thing that could happen. I mean, they're not gonna do anything to you. They might, I don't know, tell you to get the hell on or whatever. But you're not gonna die. You're not gonna, I don't know, pass out. I mean, you're not gonna, I don't know. I mean, what's the worst thing that could happen? That's why I don't get it. I don't understand why when people making such a big deal about it today. What's the big deal? You just move on and go to the next girl or the next person that you come across. That's it. But, I mean, you can basically meet women, just people in general, everywhere you go. Basically. I mean, you go to the grocery store, you go to Walmart, you go to the park, you go to Target, you go to the bar, you go to the restaurant, you go to church, if you want to take it there. You travel and you meet people, you talk to people. Now, the environment that you talk to people, has a lot to do with the quality of people, of course. And the quality of people you meet is dictated upon who you are as a person. That makes a difference. But as far as just talking to people in general, it's easy. I mean, it's not that difficult. It's really not that hard. I mean, today I went to the VA hospital to get my annual checkup, and I met people at the hospital. I mean, one guy and girl, they used to be in the Navy, and we hit it off from there because we had something in common. And we exchanged phone numbers and hey, see you later, talk to you later. It's just that simple. You just have to be the right kind of person. You have to have a certain type of personality, and you have to have something to relate to. And then you hit it off. You can hit it off with anybody, even online. Now here's where the rubber meets the road. Now, if you can't, what I would say, if you have problems meeting people in person, interacting with people in person, online is going to turn out bad. It's not going to work out. You might meet somebody online and you might follow up with them over the phone or in person, but I can almost guarantee you it's not going to go the way you would like. And this is what, as a matter of fact, a lot of stuff happens online to a lot of people that I've known, and a lot of people don't talk about it because today a lot of people are getting catfish, and they'll meet somebody in person that they've been chatting online for 6 months, a year, and the person show up, they weigh 300 pounds, and the picture doesn't match up to the person. All kinds of stuff be going on, But if you're gonna meet somebody online at some place like Match.com or PlentyOfFish.com or InterracialSinglesMeetup.com, doesn't matter what website it is. What matters is you have to have a certain skill set. You have to have the gift of gab, so to speak. You have to be able to kick game. You have to be able to, spit that hot fire. I mean, you don't necessarily gotta lie, but you have to be able. You have to be good with words. So think about this: when you're online, you're basically typing on a keyboard, communicating with somebody on the other end on a computer screen, and your goal should be to meet them in person as soon as possible. And with the first thing you must do is you have to make sure you're communicating with a real person, because what has happened over the past 7 years is a lot of people that own these websites, they have a lot of fake profiles. So they have a lot of workers that's basically working on the website and acting as a real person in real time for hours upon hours, weekly sometimes, right? So sometimes the person that you might be chatting with online, say on Plenty of Fish, and the account might be a local account in your town, but in reality, this person might be somewhere in the Philippines. So they've uploaded pictures to somebody in America with the same town that you live in. The text, they usually don't have that much text because they usually don't have very much to say. But sometimes they do have a little bit to say. But a lot of these profiles, the English is not that well written. But here's how they get people. They get people by the pictures that they upload. And today, you can send texts from offline now. So this is where they get a lot of people at, because you might exchange phone numbers with somebody on the opposite end that you're sending email back and forth. And then you follow up with the person texting the person on the dudes. You believe that it's a cell phone, but it's really online. You can text somebody from online to a cell phone now. So, but here's where a lot of people mess up at. They keep texting all day, every day, but they never actually talk to the person on the cell phone. This happens, man. Believe it or not. A lot of people, because we live in a texting world today, where people don't really want to pick up the cell phone and talk. They just rather text for months and weeks at a time, you know. So they'll keep texting back and forth, and this is where a lot of problems come in at, because you can easily FaceTime somebody if you have if you have the iPhone, or you can even Skype with somebody, or you can do a lot. There's a lot of apps and software out now that you can easily tell if someone's a real deal. But a lot of people it doesn't even cross anybody's mind that the person that they're sending email with could be a fraud. Most people don't even think about it like that. They think it's real because the other person is spitting so much game in text. I mean, they're basically telling them everything that they want to hear, and they might even give them a sob story. But they're doing all of this just to keep them on the website, because a lot of these website owners figure, which is true, the longer you keep somebody on the website, the more money they're going to make on average, which makes sense if you really think about it. If you really do the math, if you're a technical person and you do a lot of stuff online like I do, you would know this. So this is why a lot of people get catfished, because most of the time, I don't know the numbers when it comes to this, but a lot of times some people will get catfished. And I've even known some people that got taken advantage of. They got robbed. They got the shit stolen. A lot of stuff has happened from people using websites to meet people. This is why you have to have a certain skill set, because you have to peep out. You have to peep game. You have to see through the bullshit. So sometimes some people actually might be talking to a real person and communicating with a real person. But what has happened over the years is a lot of people are looking to come up. A lot of women are looking to come up. You know, I guess times is hard for some people out here. So some people, you got to get it how they live. So you might have somebody hit you up, or you was going back and forth chatting with somebody for a while, and they might try to bait and switch you. And this is pretty common, the one I'm about to tell you. And you're not gonna hear this anywhere else, because no one talks about it, because it's embarrassing. Because you got to think about it, guys and even girls don't like being made a fool of. So they're not gonna tell anybody that this probably happened to them. And this happened to somebody that I knew in the Navy. He came back in his boxers on base when we were in San Diego, you know. But check this out. This is really how it happens a lot. This is pretty common. It might not happen in the I guess from top to bottom in the same steps, but it usually goes like this. If you're chatting with a girl, so-called girl anyway, and maybe y'all have a good conversation, chit-chatting, and then you follow up and y'all exchange phone numbers, and y'all start chatting with text, then y'all actually get on the telephone, right? And she's gonna bait you with sex. She's gonna say something like, "Hey, would you like to meet up one day or one day soon or whatever the case is, right?" So of course you're gonna say, "Yeah," especially if the girl's attractive by just looking at her pictures, and plus y'all done talked over the cell phone maybe once or twice, right? So things is moving kind of fast. I'm not saying anything wrong with it, but things is moving kind of fast. So y'all set a day, say, "Hey, let's meet tomorrow or the day after," right? So the day that y'all supposed to meet, probably a couple hours prior to, she calls you and say, "Hey, now y'all was supposed to meet up for a drink or whatever." So she calls you and say something like this: "Hey, you want to have some fun? How you feeling? Blah blah blah, this and that. Looking forward to seeing you." She kicking, basically saying everything you want to hear and make you feel good as a man, right? But then she says something like this: instead of meeting at the bar, she'll say something like this: "Hey, why don't you come pick me up and we can get a room and I can smoke or drink, or if you drink, you can drink along with her. Whatever y'all do, y'all can do it. Maybe she smoke weed, and maybe she drink, and maybe you drink as well." So we went from meeting at the bar to now I gotta pick you up, and we're gonna get a hotel room right down the street from where your family live at, right near where your family live at, right? But we never planned that in the beginning. And what happens in a lot of these cases is that if you say, "Hey, well, wait a minute, I didn't plan for all this. I thought we were just supposed to meet up and have a drink or two, but we wasn't supposed to get a room or any of that. I didn't plan for all that." So she'll come back with something like this. She'll say, well, we can just get a room and chill, right? Now that doesn't make any sense. Why would we just get a room and chill and not drink anything or smoke weed or whatever she does, whatever y'all do? So now she comes back, replies back and say, "Let's just get a room and chill." That doesn't make any sense. So what happens is a lot of these guys will fall for that, and they'll get a room with the girl. She's gonna bait you for sex. Y'all get a room. Y'all probably do be drinking and smoking. Y'all might even have sex, right? But what's gonna happen is she's gonna call her friends or family or relatives or whoever it may be, and they're gonna come to the hotel room and they're gonna rob you, point blank range, with a gun, and take whatever you got, and they're gonna be out of there, and take whatever you got of valuable. They're gonna take whatever you got, and you're not gonna ever see them again, because a lot of these people don't live in your town. They just come and go, and they live in these big cities like Atlanta, New York, LA, Chicago, Houston. So you can't catch them because they don't live in that town. They just there for a short period of time. They go from town to town. They trying to come up off a good lick. So a lot of these guys get bait and switch by a lot of these women online, and you have to be careful. You have to have a certain skill set, and you have to be disciplined. You have to know That's why I say you have to have the gift of gab. You have to know when some shit ain't right. And you have to use your intuition to know when some shit just don't feel right. It ain't vibing right. You know, it's just something in your gut that tells you in certain situations, hey, it's time to go. Something don't feel right about this shit. And you can't really teach that. You have to, that comes with experience. So it's easy to meet women everywhere, online, offline. But if you're not the right kind of person, and if you don't have a certain skill set, you're going to get taken advantage of every time. And I wish somebody would have told me this shit like when I was 18. That way I wouldn't have made so many mistakes. And this is why a lot of guys make so many mistakes. Because somebody's giving them the wrong information. They're giving them the wrong game. And a lot of people don't mean to give them the wrong information. That shit's been passed down from generation to generation. And then you got some people, maybe your relatives or whatever, they just don't say shit. They just let you do you, whatever that is. So they let things happen by chance. So if you like what you heard, subscribe to my channel. Check out my blog, chooseyourrelationships.com. And at the end of this video, at the bottom of this video, I'm going to put some websites, some of the best websites to meet people online. And maybe you can check them out and give them a try. So until next time, Sharp Game is out. Peace.